like this, but I figured why not? Why not go live? It'd probably make it much easier for me to get my videos out to you guys sooner and cover the energy of the transits a little closer to when it's happening. Even though I do feel like this period of transition and just like time is shifting for a lot of people. So it's going to be really good in terms of being able to look back at previous videos. So for those who are watching, my name is Nicole. I'm a wellness entrepreneur, mom, human design reader, and so much more. And on today's video, I'll be talking about the new moon in Pisces that recently transited on March 9th and 10th. So I always give you guys new moon transits as well as for human design, as well like the gates that we're transiting during the moon phase, as well as I give you guys self-care prompts. So I have some Pisces season self-care prompts. I also am giving you guys writing prompts so you can reflect and think about some of the information that I give you here, especially the human design gate and gene key information. And then lastly, of course, I give you guys an overall energy reading to kind of go with the transit. And this is kind of a collective reading. So it's my intuitive downloads as well as channeling because I have a clear audience. So with that, I sometimes get messages that are just like words or thoughts that come to me. So with that being said, let's hop into the reading. So I'm going to start with the themes of the new moon in Pisces. So here are some of the themes that we recently had occur. And as I'm filming this video, which is on March 13th, there are other transits that I'll be talking about, which is gate 36, the gate of crisis that is happening. But where was I? But yes, these themes are covering not just the new moon, but the upcoming 2 weeks before the full moon. So this video is going to resonate up until the 19th of March, but also know that this reading may resonate with you at any time because readings are timeless and time is objective. So let's hop into it. So some of the themes I have for the new moon in Pisces are sincerity, grace, because gate 22 in human design transits. So grace is the name of the hexagram. We also have beauty, abundance, virtue, beginnings, transfiguration, because gate 22, the gate of grace, will be transiting with gate 47, the gate of transfiguration. Um, Also beginnings, I have mentioned beginnings, completion, gather, and warmth. And completion is really interesting because our full moon that is upcoming, our full moon is going to end out the I guess zodiac year. Yes. The full moon is going to end out the zodiac year, and with the full moon ending out the zodiac year, that could be why you may be feeling like, oh, I've recently gone through like, a big transition, or it still feels like my year didn't fully close out even though we're already in March, right? That is because the zodiac year, as we're in Pisces season and also the 12th sign, we are closing up on things, and information might be coming to light. Gate 12 is not gate 12. The 12th house in astrology is about our subconscious mind and inwardness and being in solitary confinement. And that could be, the thought of being in solitary confinement, like self-sabotaging or isolating, or it could be choosing to be confined or being forced to be confined. It also is the house of hospitals and prisons. So all of those themes may be coming up in your life. I've noticed in particular as gate 36 in human design, the gate of crisis is transiting. And even last week with gate 22, I've noticed a lot of ambulances flying down Hollywood Boulevard. And I do think that like goes with the energy of the gate. Also, the moon phase currently, as of March 13th, is waxing crescent. So outside feels very active, lively, and with the gate of crisis transiting, also just very high emotions. So now let's talk about the mantras that I have, because I always put mantras with the energy of the human design gates, as well as I kind of give the mantra along with another type of energy contemplation to go along with it. So the mantra is let it change you, let it free you. Because as we are as we've moved through gate 22, the gate of grace, the energy is really allowing us to forgive ourselves so that we can move forward into this next phase of life as we're completing one cycle and transitioning into a new cycle. And it's ironic because I'm sitting next to two of my plants. I have one that's just starting to bud again after it died. And then my other plant right here, my monstera I just got, is in full bloom. So I have like cycles going on in my house as well. So the next thing is for the new moon in Pisces, my overall energy reading, I decided to focus more on a symbol. And the symbol I picked is Ouroboros because we're talking about gate 22 and also the gate 47 in human design. Grace and transfiguration remind me of the Ouroboros, which is the symbol of the snake eating itself. And I posted in my community post sometime this week the imagery of it. If not, you can also check the Instagram, my personal Instagram account with Love Cole that goes along with this channel, the IG graphics that go along with this video. So I already have graphics with all the information I'm talking about. And then as I'm going through the transit myself, and also even after when I make this video, I reflect on it and kind of give you guys my take on it as well of the time frame and the present moment. So Ouroboros, the snake eating itself, the inscription that was found on the Ouroboros in ancient Egypt, because this is the first time this symbol was ever seen, says Draco interfecit se ipsum, maritat se ipsum, impraegnat se ipsum. I really should have put what it meant because I did research it. But basically, it marries itself, it impregnates itself, it kills itself, it marries itself, and impregnates itself. So the serpent eating itself is doing this. Another symbology that I feel like goes along with this is the symbol of Osiris, because he ruled the underworld as well as crops and farming and fertility in some ways. So with that, it's just like this cycle of life that continues and the continual spirals we go through. And in each moment, right before we transform into the next moment, there is a moment of grace, whether grace comes through a person, a place, divine will, literally. All of these elements come through during this transit and with this symbol of the Ouroboros. So I also put for the energy reading, I wanted more people to become aware of the morphogenetic field. So I wrote down a source from LinkedIn that I found an article that I feel like had a great definition for it. The source is Pulse Morphic Fields Role Purpose by Rhea de Souza. And the description that she put was, a morphic field is an energy field that defines the entire biology of all living beings. It provides a force field that guides the development and behavior of an organism as it grows. So similarly to the morphogenetic field and the symbolism of the Ouroboros, this is just a reminder of our universal oneness and interconnectedness, and how when one person goes through the cycle of changing and transforming themselves, in turn, they actually change and transform other aspects of the world, and they raise their morphogenetic field. And the morphogenetic field is the field of their environment. So the new moon in Pisces is very much about how do we learn to rebirth ourselves despite our circumstances and our situations to become anew. How do we move through suffering? And gate 36, the gate of crisis, talks a lot about suffering and Christ consciousness and the idea of, people with this gate in the gene keys, it says that they understand, Jesus's words of how the meek shall inherit the earth, because these are the people who will actually be able to feel true peace. Because when you've experienced all suffering, you become a person that loses fear to suffering. So this is not, I saw like 3 people get off as soon as I mentioned Jesus, but I'm not necessarily talking about Jesus. I'm talking about the archetype of Jesus. And I will speak very interdisciplinary. So I will use terminology that we'll speak about Egyptian mythology, as well as the Buddha, as well as Christ, as well as the Kuan Yin, because this connection is how we see, like I said, our oneness, and how we elevate the morphogenetic field through Gate 22 grace. So now let's talk about the human design gates. So as I mentioned, gate 22, the gate of grace, is transiting. So I am going to read you guys what I wrote. Again, this is an IG post as well, but here's what I wrote that reflects the energy of the gate. It says, grace is compassion meeting peace. This month, consider how you can embody more grace in your life. To be graceful is to move in an elegant and refined way, and also to show yourself capable under pressure. Grace is given and received, and the more we do so, we create more of it in our morphogenetic field. Some seasons of our life require us to focus our grace inward, having grace towards ourselves, having self-compassion, and others require an outward expression of poise and elegance, showing up, working in community, being in service, even in times we may not necessarily feel like we want to, because we understand that our soul wants to. Our soul grace, this gate, is very much about our emotional energy being in alignment with consciousness. And that is how grace flows through you, because grace is the energy of involution, spirit coming down. Well, excuse me, grace is the energy of evolution, spirit coming out through you. And Grace's connection to gate 55, the gate of abundance, and abundance in our spirit, is about involution, the opposite happening, where we receive divine downloads that come out of us. So I'll continue here. It says, grace is the ability to be fully adorned in the divine presence. We are free to evolve at any moment and any time. So with the beauty of grace, it allows us to no longer feel like we need to be stuck where we are, because we know that there is an energy and a presence that is constantly and continually looking out for us and taking care of us. And this is why, and actively working on our behalf, because this gate is called the gate of adorning and favor. So this is why we often hear grace being talked about as the Holy Spirit, because it is often used as God's active force, or how God moves through consciousness through and through us. So now let's talk about, oh yes, I wrote, grace is knowing this favor is present for all. And it's knowing that, okay, and not only do I receive grace, but anyone can receive grace, which means that we are all one, and we are all made in oneness, right? In the same likeness. We're part of different fractals, but we come from the same crystal, the same structure, the same energy that brought us all here. So now let's talk about gate 47, the gate of realization. And gate 47 is the programming partner of gate 22, and is really because the city of realization is being able to be reborn and to be transfigured. So Lao Tzu says, if you realize that all things can change, there is nothing you will try to hold on to. And this goes back to even the whole teaching of the 64 gene keys and, human design gates and the I Ching. It's all about the fact that life is ever changing. It's impermanent. So we have to be able to flow and move with the wheel of life. So what I wrote for gate 47 for the energy reading with this transit, I wrote, the process of changing may be tiring as it is cracking open a new you. This is the journey of life, the continual becoming anew. In the Chinese I Ching, the gate is the gate of realization. And this is the hexagram of the aha moment. Through massive change and restructuring, we become anew. This gate reminds me of the scripture Romans 12:2. And the scripture is, do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is, his good, pleasing, and perfect will. So this Ouroboros cycle, which you can even look at it where I talk about the Ouroboros is the image of the snake eating itself. It's also could be viewed as our circadian rhythm, as the wheel of life, the 365-day year. All of these cycles help guide us more towards a renewal of ourselves. And each time we renew, we become closer and closer to, our highest self, the person we're meant to be, and to the energy of actually evolving the world. I also wrote, to see what the will is, we must first be in a state of newness, open to new thought, allowing the mind to be like a river, letting what needs to pass over us and through us, and let it go when it's meant to go. So one thing that we may be working on through Pisces season is really being able to let old beliefs go and old thoughts, especially when those beliefs and thoughts have helped us survive. I know personally I am looking to let things go that have helped me survive, but also may not be serving me. And part of that means being able to be more comfortable showing up and being able to be more comfortable just like connecting with new people often, just because if you connected with people and the probability of good situations has been low, and that could be because of who you are, it could be just your life circumstances, it can just make you not want to be open. But in order to receive the abundance of life, you do have to open yourself up. So with that, this is that process and that cycle, because we see that when we talk about like Christ and the Buddha and Christ consciousness, these were people who were very, very open to all phases and aspects of life. And they didn't hold back the ability to live and to experience what they felt their soul was here to experience. So now let's hop into some writing prompts. So now that we've talked about the human design gates and in relation some gene key conversation, I want to go over writing prompts so you guys can think about these things as you contemplate the transmission of the gates. So what are my virtues? Along with gate 22, the gate of grace, which reminds us that it really comes down to our virtues, which helps us to be in alignment with consciousness and in turn unlock grace. We also have gate 50, the gate of cauldron, which literally gives you the gift of virtues. So if you're someone who's deep into human design, I highly recommend checking out, ooh, why am I laying with my hand like that? That was so painful. I highly recommend checking out Gate 50, the Gate of Values, just because you might get more personal insights there. And it also reminds us that with being graceful, it comes with being responsible. So now the next question or writing prompt I have is, are my endeavors leading me in the direction I desire? We do things that we love, but doesn't necessarily lead us in the direction we desire. Sometimes it will, right? Because sometimes we're meant to change course or do things differently, but other times we are meant to do things that are within our value system. There's times where life, of course, will change that in the sense of kind of shake you up or throw you for a loop to help you grow in awareness. But when we are focused on our personal direction and we are operating in that Ouroboros cycle, our 24th day cycle of renewing our minds, of taking care of ourselves, then we are more likely to make decisions and create habits around doing the things that are moving us forward in the direction we want to be in life. Next is, how can I practice more stillness? Because as we're talking about being able to move in action, the Ouroboros also reflects that there are two energies, the yin and the yang, because the Ouroboros is supposed to be the circle that encompasses both yin and yang energies. So when we are thinking about stillness, of the things that we do to bring us joy and activate our vitality, as Gate 58 talks about, what are the things that can bring us stillness and bring us joy within the stillness so that we can be on that renewal cycle of even our health, renewing our bodies, our proper sleep cycles, our proper eating cycles. Navigating those things as a mom is very complicated when you're like, everyone is still on their own cycles, or there's cycles that you guys kind of link with. But learning your personal cycle, as I mentioned, helps your overall morphogenetic fields, and that, of course, consists of you, your family, your friends, your community, the world. Next is, what information can I discover this week? It's always good to learn new things, because as we learn new things, we naturally will elevate our morphogenetic field. With wisdom and proper values, we will naturally enrich our lives. So, what information can you discover this week, whether it's on YouTube, whether it's somewhere else, that can enrich your life? So, now that I'm finished with the writing prompts, let's talk about some self-care, because it's Pisces season. So I had in mind some water stuff. I have in mind some grace, as Gate 22 talks about, and some subconscious reprogramming, as we talk about in the 12th house. And Pisces is a 12th house sign. So first, I said get new moisturizer. I'm going to shout out Monastery Made. It's a brand I've been working with. It is not a sponsored video at all. This video is definitely a video about human design, but if and astrology and esoteric things, but also understanding how we can take care of ourselves on the material plane is really, really important too. So getting new moisturizer takes care of your skin. Your skin is your largest organ, and it's also how you reflect light. So if you're someone who's a content creator, being on camera like this, you want to be able to reflect as much light as possible, especially when you know you're giving out a message that is of light. Having that light on you helps. So next is ritualize a part of your day. Like the Ouroboros, the snake eating itself, what can you do that can help you renew your mind daily? It could be taking walks. It could be grounding in nature. It could be taking vitamins at a specific time of day. These are all things that help renew you, nourish you. It can be meditation. It definitely should be meditation. The whole world should meditate. Just my take. But meditation, all of these things are part of this cycle that helps pass time, which is also what the symbol of the Ouroboros embodies within it, the passing of time and change. All right, so I might have very quickly and efficiently covered this. I think I might enjoy doing these videos live just because that was efficient. And I know it'll be up here for whenever you guys are ready to watch. And for those of you that came, those of you that came through on this video, thank you. I really, really appreciate it. I hope you found something I said informative. I am sorry that this week, because Gate 22 is such a big transmission on itself, I just want to highly recommend you guys, if you really are interested in learning more about human design and the gene keys, check out Richard Rudd's book, The Gene Keys, which I will definitely link below. So you can click it. It helps me as I'm an Amazon affiliate if you want. But yeah, getting that book and reading the transmission for Gate 22 can help alter your DNA. It can change your mindset, perspective, and help you show up in the world with more grace, compassion, and awareness. Also, what else was I gonna say? I'll end with the mantra. I hope this video changes you and frees you. I love you guys, and I will see you in the next video. I plan on doing a few more lives like this to catch up on the transits that I have to do. So the next video you see me post will be the full moon in Cancer from 12/25, which is, or 12/28. It's been so long, y'all. But I think it's in alignment with the fact that we're actually ending our zodiac year now. So it's kind of like you're ending the year with me a few months ago and now, but the information will definitely still be relevant. So look out for that video, and I'll see you in the next one.